They're taking the cake and they're going to be cutting up the cake, and that's dessert today. We are going to have, I don't know if you noticed, but there is some parquet floor there for a little dancing, and we're going to have some music. And it'll be primarily 50s and 60s. Okay? You young folks, sorry. But anyway, and with that, has everybody got the drinks at their table yet? Okay, that's not what you're drinking. Okay, so Larry Mello, a recent retiree, another banker. He was with the Federal Land Bank and Production Credit, just retired in April, and now he's working doing consulting. Well, I'll tell you. Larry?
Well, you know, 50 years ago, I can't remember if I did toast. I mean, that was just too long ago. Plus, I was only 16, so I know it didn't have any alcohol in it. So this time, I'm deciding I'm going to make a toast with alcohol. And now I hear Dan telling me he doesn't drink alcohol. So anyway, to you guys for a great 50. Hope you have 25 or 50 more or whatever it is. And to just a great aunt and uncle, here's to you. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers for Jimmy.
Dark, come on, can you back up a little bit? I gotta get the light on you. Can I get in there a second, guys? You get in one second.
You're the professional.
Yeah, turn this way, just do that, just this way a little bit. Go back with me. Okay, sorry guys.
Don't smash it in her face.
Nope. I was waiting for it.
You have to feed each other. Oh, come on. You've got to. That is tradition.
You're a troublemaker.
How you doing, Maria? Oh, thank you. Thank you. They did a nice job, but those girls really worked on those flowers. Oh,
They look really good. It's sweet.
It's a little casino.
Another call in one day. I got another one. You want it?
We got engaged in June of '64, just after I'd started my career at the bank. And then we planned in October '65 wedding. But those of you who remember that time, there was a little conflict called Vietnam going on. And so in March, I was still on the train. No, I had finished the training program with the bank, and I had been assigned in operations to the Dinuba branch. And my sister Mary knew the lady from the draft board down in Hanford, and I got a summons to go for a physical to Fresno. There was 75 of us on a bus. Came up from Hanford, went over there on Broadway Street. I don't know if it's still the center there for it or not. And we went through it. Out of the 75, I thought to myself, I won't get drafted. My left eye, I have amblyopia, can't read with it, you know. They're not going to take me. Well, out of the 75, the first 12 to pass, I was one. So they sent back a bunch of those guys that didn't pass because they had tried to flunk their written test. And they passed another 50 of them, you know. So my sister Mary knew the gal. Her name was Jerry down in Hanford. That was the clerical person at the draft board. He says, you know, Mary, those guys that are taking those physicals this March, they'll probably be drafted in May. And I said, So Andrea and I talked about it. And during our lunch, on April 15th of 1965, she and I got married. What happened, I was in Dinuba. The Dinuba hospital facilitated me, did our blood test. I don't even know, is that required? You had to get married? A blood test? It was then. Not anymore? Okay. And Andrea was working or living with her mom down in Tulare. She went to the Tulare District Hospital. They took her test. My sister Mary and my brother-in-law Alfred picked up my parents and Andrea's mom. We all met at the Tulare County Courthouse in Visalia. We got our license, and then we went over to the Justice of the Peace, or Justice Office. Actually, was the block behind the bank where I retired from. Anyway, it's now the welfare office there in Visalia. But anyway, and for those of you who've been around a long time, Judge McDermott, long-time, well-known judge down in Visalia, married us. So Andrea went back to work in Visalia. I took the car and the marriage license, went to Hanford to the draft board. So they weren't married, they were not drafting married men at the time. And we had plans. So we got married, and then we planned the church wedding, and we got married there in Tulare at St. Aloysius on May 29th. Anyway, December 9th, 1965, I got a letter in the mail saying, greetings, you're coming in the Army. And the only way I wouldn't have been drafted is if we had a child on the way. And we said, nah, that ain't gonna work. So anyway, actually it worked out. You know, we had some there's some stress when you get drafted and you go to Fort Hood, Texas for 3 months, and then you come back and you go to Indianapolis. I was able to bring Andrea with her. We bought you may have seen an old trailer house in one of these pictures up here. That's the trailer house that we lived on, the trailer court at the Fort Benjamin Harrison in north of Indianapolis. And we were there for about 6 months. And then they said, you know, it's time for you to go. Now, there was 17 of us out of Fort Hood that went to Fort Benjamin Harrison. And we went into what they call the MOS testing. For those of you who've been in the military, that's the military occupation specialty. And they were going to be key punch operators. making up these tests for these guys. Well, I had been with the bank about 18 months, and a young second lieutenant said, you know, we need somebody with some kind of financial experience to work in the payroll office for the home unit there. And then one other guy became a postal clerk. Out of the 17, 15 went to Vietnam, the postal clerk went to Korea, and I went to Germany. And you know, it was a great experience because I was over there a couple of months, and then Andrea was able to come over, and we did some traveling. We went to Luxembourg, Belgium, of course Germany, throughout Germany, southern Germany, Garmisch, site of the '58 Winter Olympics. Then we went down to Switzerland, Italy, spent a couple of weeks. But here's something unbelievable. 2 weeks on a train from Germany through Italy, back up through the Brenner Pass up to Austria. $195 total cost, staying at a hotel every night. You know, that was kind of fun. Anyway, Andrea got to see quite a bit of Germany where we were stationed. I got to see a lot of wilderness. I spent 30 days one time. Tom Anderson, you know about this, Grafenwehr. That's the old training unit that the Nazi Panzer units, which are their tank units, used to train in. But then there was another place called Hohenfels. They were old training units from the Nazi armies. So we did spend a few time away from each other, but it was fantastic. Can't speak more highly of a country like Germany. So anyway, with that, just wanted to give you a history. We've been married twice, April 15th and May 29th. And you know, not everybody knew about that. But anyway, with that, we're going to play a little music. I think Andrea and I are going to go up and dance to our song. And then the second song, we ask everybody to come up and dance. And Ricky, I know you know how to dance.
I thought you were taking your garter off. I gave that to Joe years ago.
Time for the limbo.